Welcome to the Real Estate Investor Summit podcast, coming to you straight from the smallest big town in Texas with your host, mentor, and owner financing master, Mitch, a.k.a. Be the Bank Stephen. The possibilities of life without a J-O-B start here. So grab your pen and paper and listen up. Y'all just might figure out how to fail forward to financial freedom.
This is Mitch, and welcome to the Real Estate Investor Summit podcast. I'm going to be doing a solo cast today, and I'm going to be talking about my personal group coaching and question and answer session that I have every week. It's on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, and it's, all year round. I probably miss 4 or 5 weeks out of the whole 52 weeks in the year. That's usually around the holidays, or, every now and then I get sick or just I'm out of pocket and can't get to a computer. But for the most part, I never miss. I hardly ever miss. And when I do, you're probably glad to have a break too. So stay tuned. The power of group coaching and Q&A sessions. I'm going to be talking to you about what you get and what the cost is and what to expect right after a few words from our sponsors. We'll be right back. And we're back. We're going to be talking about the power of group coaching and Q&A sessions. I'm going to be talking specifically about my group coaching and Q&A. It's every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. And why would you elect this? There's a lot of reasons, but let's just start from the top. One, it's super affordable. My one-on-one coaching is $15,000 per person. Of course, it includes the group coaching and, everything I have, basically. But not everyone can afford that. And not everybody needs that. When you get on the group coaching and the Q&A session, I call it group coaching, but sometimes I call it Q&A. So for the purpose of this podcast, let's just call it group coaching. And so the group coaching, it's really affordable compared to the one-on-one $15,000, and I reserve the right to change my prices anytime. But today, I'm $15,000 a year for one-on-one coaching, and I'm $3,500 a year for group coaching. This is really affordable in light of the fact that it's me that's on the call. I don't sub this call out to anybody. It's me every night. Now, I might have a guest sometimes just to kick it off. While people are filtering in to the call, kill a little time while people, straggle in. But it's always me. I rarely miss. I've been doing it for 5 years, and part of what we're talking about, and my commitment on this once-a-week call is that I'm going to stay on the line until every question's answered. And I don't care if that means an hour or 4.5 hours. I think the longest it ever went one time was 5 hours. We were having a lot of fun. I might have had some eggnog. I think it was around Christmas time. And we were feeling exceptionally jovial, and everyone was just chiming in, and we were laughing and asking questions and having a grand old time. And it really didn't seem like 5 hours. It really didn't. But, normally it's about an hour and a half to 2 hours. You don't have to stay on. You don't even have to even show up if you don't want to or on any. We're not taking roll call or anything. I'm just there if you need me. But I find that the people that show up regularly really get ahead of the people who don't, because there's just a lot of stuff going on now. Some of it's redundant, some of it's, real estate 101, because sometimes there's some new people there, but there's also some very experienced people there, and there's also some situations that new investors and veterans get themselves into that you're served well to hear about them before it happens to you. Or so you'll recognize it when it's about to happen to you, and you can either take steps to profit from it, or you can take steps to run away from it, depending on what the issue is. But we're talking mostly about finding deals, funding deals, and finding buyers. But it doesn't just stop there. There's legal issues, there's resources. One of the things I like about Q&A when I'm dealing with the students there is that it's real life situations. We're dealing about real deals. These are real numbers for real deals for real people in parts of the country that, things are going on. And when you take real life versus hypothetical, it's a lot easier to follow a case study when you're going right down the line of how it really happened or what we might do in this exact circumstance. And when you get into hypotheticals, the options can start branching off so much that you even forget what the question is. So I love dealing with real life situations because those situations are they're infinite. The resolve is finite. The circumstances are finite. They're not infinite. And so it's much easier to follow. Now, one of the things that you get when you sign up for the Q&A, $3,500 for the year, is 200 hours of archived Q&A. So if once a week's not good enough for you, I mean, you can listen to Q&A till you're blue in the face. All you have to do is just, go in and start playing some of the archive stuff. And that changes because I've done way over 200 hours. So we try to mix and match some of the better Q&A sessions in that 200. One of the things that's really important about group coaching is you get social proof. There's no way for me to make up or orchestrate these calls or anything in them. I mean, I'm picking up, I'm on the phone, other people on the line. You press *2 to raise your hand if you have a question. I click on it. I never know. Half the time I don't even know who's on the other end because the identifications on the phone numbers are incorrect or not right or just plain don't say anything. So I don't even know who I'm going to talk to. Second of all, it says what state they're calling from, but half the time people have phone numbers and don't live in those states anymore. So I don't know who I'm going to get when I click on a raised hand, and I certainly don't know what they're going to say or what they're going to ask. And then I'll tell them, they'll describe a situation or a problem, and maybe we come up with a resolution, and we tell them, go out and try this, try X, and then try Y, and then try Z, and come back and tell me what worked better. And so next week when they get on the call, I don't know what happened. I just say, hey, last time we talked, you were supposed to go out and try to solve this problem. What happened? And a lot of times you'll hear me say, now just tell me the truth. I don't care if it was good or it was bad or, it makes me look good or it makes me look bad. I don't care. Just tell me the truth. What happened when you went out and did what I told you to do? And there it is. They give you the answer. Now, most of the time, it's in our favor, in my favor, or, we get the result that we were looking for, but sometimes we don't. And it's important to know. Like, I like to talk to people about when you go out to raise private money. Someone says, well, I got, 3 appointments tomorrow. I'm going to call next week and let you know. I've been rehearsing the script that you told me, and I'm going to go try it on 3 people, next week. So I'll be calling in next Tuesday, and I'll let you know how it goes. Well, next Tuesday comes up, and I say, okay, you were supposed to call on 3 people. Did you call on them? They say, yeah. I said, okay. Now, tell us the truth. What happened? I mean, if they shoved a pencil in your eye or shot you in the foot while you're in the office, you need to tell us exactly what happened so that people can know what to expect, And, of course, nobody gets a pencil shoved in their eye and nobody gets shot in the foot. But what I'm saying is I'm not just soliciting for an answer that makes me look good. I just want to know what happened to you in real life, what really happened, so that we can adjust or make adjustments or try to avoid, if it wasn't good, then we can try to modify or regroup or readdress the issue to stop that reaction. Or if it's good, then everyone can take note. But where the social proof comes in, though, is you watch these people start growing week after week after week. You watch your peers that are also on the call start growing. There's been many times when I had people that didn't think they could find good deals on houses, and then we got a plan. They got started on the plan, and they started finding good deals on houses. You're hearing this with your own ears, okay, week after week. Then they get in the problems like, I got too many houses. I don't know how I'm going to fund them. I said, okay, well, you're going to have to go out here and get some private money. And then you can hear the drop in their demeanor, like, golly, this is going to suck. I'm not going to be able to find private money. I'm probably going to lose these deals. You can hear it in their voice. They say, no, look, this is what we're going to do. Try this. And then they come back next week, and then all of a sudden, they found some money. And what it says is, if this guy, who really didn't even believe he could, because you could hear it in his voice last week, went out and found some money, then why can't you? Or you can too. Maybe that's the right thing. If they can do it, you can do it. And that's what's cool about Q&A, is you start thinking, you know what? If that guy, I've been listening to this guy for 3 weeks now, he ain't all that sharp. If he can go out and get private money, I can certainly go out and get private money. Little bit of a joke on the not all that sharp thing, but you're comparing yourself to other people, and the social proof is important. I've had people say, I don't think I can find enough deals, and all of a sudden they have, over the weeks they start to get too many deals. They say, I can't find the money, and then all of a sudden they have too much money. Man, I need to go out and find some more deals because I got too much money. I got to get this money out. Well, when you watch this in the week by week progression, you see that it's real, and you see that it can happen. And if it can happen to them, it can happen to you. So the social proof is really big. It also, it's a place to go get some confidence, because, you know, maybe you're thinking about making an offer in this house, or maybe you don't know what to do in this situation. You call up some guy named Mitch Stevens on the call, that'd be me, and you state your case and what your fear is, and then we have some conversation about it, and all of a sudden you get the right angle and you get some confidence, and you run out there, and now you're going into this deal with confidence instead of second guessing yourself, because you got to have some conversation with someone who's been there before. And then, not to mention the fact that sometimes the audience chimes in. And they'll tell you, well, I've been in that position, and I did what Mitch said, and it worked. Or, I have a little twist on that, because for me it wasn't working because of X. So I did I modified a little bit from what Mitch says, and I went and did this. Hey, that's fine. And, that's what it's all about. It's a group effort. It's group coaching. And it's not just me telling people what to do, because frankly, I don't like to tell anybody what to do. I like to tell you the different options that we have, and how we might circumvent whatever problem it is, or achieve the shortest distance to your goal. But I by no means know everything, and that's also it's really great to have other people on the call. Now, on these calls, it's usually between 15 and 40 people. It's usually between 15 and 40 people. It gets slower during the school year, and it gets a little slower during the holidays. And as a matter of fact, during the holidays, I'll take a couple of weeks off just so everybody can get a break and go do what they got to do. And, it's the holidays, man, and everyone's, usually had enough for that year. It's a great networking area. I can't tell you how many times a student has chimed in to help another student with a problem that they're having. I can't even count the times that's happened over the last 5 years. Also, there's resources, and people are sharing resources. One of the reasons that I do this Q&A call is not because I want to bestow my vast knowledge upon all the underlings out there that are just starting out or whatever. The ego part of it left a long time ago. Showing up every Tuesday for 5 years, it's not fun. I mean, there's times I think to myself, crap, it's Tuesday again, and I gotta be ready to go at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, whether I like it or not, because people are going to show up and I can't disappoint them. And after 5 years, it's a little pressure, but guess why I stay on it? I stay on it because I learn from these calls. I learn about resources, apps, softwares, new companies that opened, where new sources of money are, what's going on in the laws and the books and the legislation. I'm learning about all kinds of stuff on these calls, because together we are better. You want to take two people in a room. Me by myself, that's not much of a think tank. That's a stink tank. Me by myself has its huge limitations. Me and one other person, we're getting, that's better. Me and 5 people, that's better. Me and 40 people, that's great. I mean, if there's something going on out there, someone probably knows of an angle or an answer or a resource or something. And it's just nice to be there. I'm on this Q&A because I learned from Q&A. Imagine that. And I'm glad that I show up. I just learned some stuff the other day about how to find houses. Go to 1000houses.com/machine and look what I learned. Look what I learned from somebody in the Q&A. 1000houses.com/machine. Okay? And it'll be in the show notes too. So, other thing you can get from this once a week contact with your mentor, Mitch Stephen, is accountability. If you want to be held accountable, tell me right on the call. Me and all the callers will hold you accountable. If you say you're going to do something, you want to be held accountable, let us know. We'll be happy to. There's, again, a lot of networking and a lot of resources. Now, let's just talk about the price, and then we'll get out of here. It's $3,500 for the year, and it's a $500 for a renewal for another year. So if you look at it like that, it's $2,000 a year for 2 years. If I can't make you $2,000 a year when you show up once a week to talk to me, I'll kiss your butt right on national TV if you can find a cameraman in a station that'll air it. I mean, there's no way that you can call me and talk about what's going on in your life, say 48, 47, 45 times a year, and me not be able to give you advice that would make you an extra $2,000. That's just, it's insane to think that a guy, and look, I'm not trying to blow my own horn here, and I don't think I'm the smartest guy in the world. I've just been doing the same thing for 22 years, and I've had my you-know-what kicked up to my throat so many times it's not even funny. So I've been through some life experiences, 22 years, over at least 1,500 transactions in my own hometown that have to do with everything from flipping to owner financing to subject to, you name it. And so there's no way that I can't bring to you an extra $2,000 that you didn't see laying somewhere or that you didn't know to go for. I mean, I know sentences that'll make you $2,000 in one transaction. Depending on the transaction, I know sentences that can make you more than $2,000 in one transaction. If you'll use that sentence when you recognize a certain situation, it'll make your money back. And if you're out there doing anything at all along the lines that I teach, you're going to run into that circumstance several times a year. You don't look at mentoring or coaching like this is going to cost me this much money. If you pick the right mentor, you put the money out and it should come back. And matter of fact, I'll point it out to you when it happens. You know, someone will call and say, hey, you know, I did what you said and I was able to find a buyer with an extra $5,000. And I'll stop the whole conversation and say, hey, look, don't want to blow my own horn here, but I think it's important that I get this off my chest and that you understand it. Remember what you paid me to be on this call? He said, yeah, I paid you $3,500. I said, you just got the money back plus $1,500. Do you see that? I mean, how long would it have taken you to figure out that little angle that I showed you last week that made you that extra $5,000? How would you have ever figured that out? You know, again, I don't want to blow my horn, and I don't think I'm the smartest guy on the planet. I've just been doing the same thing for a long time, and my intuition and my instincts, I mean, all these deals, although every deal is different, there's a lot of similarities between people and these transactions, and I can start to smell the way conversations are going. When you start telling me about how the conversation's going with your prospect, I can almost tell you, I think this guy, you know, this is headed in this direction. This is how you head it off. Or drag him back over here by saying this. Or shut him down by doing this. Or you better make sure you get this signed because I don't like the way this is smelling. And I want you to protect yourself from something that might happen. So, and that's another thing. And the last thing, and then we'll wrap it up. But, you know, you can measure a mentoring program or a group coaching program by how much someone makes you, by how much the mentor helps you make extra. But the one thing that you can't measure is how much did that group coaching call keep you from losing? Because you can't measure the negative. You know, did I keep you from losing 10,000 or 20,000? Or did I keep you from losing so much that you're going to quit the whole business in the first place? And so, you know, without having the right mentor, you might be out of business. Because I know for a fact, if I hadn't got the right mentor at the time that I did, I was going to be out of the creative real estate investing business. Because I had 25 rent houses that were killing me, and I was a don't wanter, and I want to get outer, and I wanted out, and I happened to hire someone to help me get out and not lose my credit and my reputation, and they taught me how to stay in, and that was 22 years ago and 1,500 deals ago, and you know how much was that? At the time, I paid that guy $10,000. How much did I get back for my $10,000? You know, multi millions. So the right mentor, you got to get the right guy too. And if I'm not the guy for you, that's fine. Find someone who's the right for you. Find someone who maybe there's a particular, you know, if you want to do apartment complexes, I'm not your guy. If you want to do, yeah, and that's one last thing I'll say before we wrap up. It's not just about owner financing. I mean, that's my specialty, that's my niche, but I know how to wholesale contracts. I know how to flip contracts. I know how to wholesale houses. I know how to, do subject twos. I know how to do lease options. I know how to do everything. I've done everything. And I know how to retail houses. I know how to rehab houses. I know how to buy houses and not rehab them and owner finance them for double. I know how to do a lot of things. I specialize and I'm looking for the owner finance deal myself every day, but that's not all I know how to do. And I can answer lots of different questions on lots of different things. Mostly though, I can change your mindset. If I really need you to come if you have fears that you can't overcome, if there's some problems that you're struggling with, let's just go right to it, attack them, and let's get them out of the way. You know, I used to be afraid of that multi-page Trek contract down here in Texas because it just went on forever. It was a big bunch of legalese, and I didn't understand it at the time. And I just made a decision that I was not going to be intimidated by that, and I was going to get nose to nose with it, face to face with it. I'm going to have a big old brawl with that contract, and someone's going to win, but I'm not going to run away from it anymore. And guess what? I kicked that contract's ass. I know it inside and out. I had them explain it to me. I know what every paragraph's about, and I'm no longer afraid. And it actually became the model for the way I live. when I have a problem or I have a fear, I run right to it. I quit running away from them or hiding or putting my head in the sand. When I recognize that I'm afraid of something or that this is a problem that I really don't want to address, that's when we go straight for it. So I can help you do that if you want to. And if you think about it, $3,500 with a $500 renewal at the end of the year so you can get another year, it's $4,000 for 2 years. That's $2,000 a year. I promise you, I'm worth $2,000 a year. I'll make you more than $2,000 every single day of the week under one condition. You will get out there and take massive action. I can't help anybody who sits on a couch. I can't help them. But if you're an action taker and you're willing to try some things and fail and get back up and dust yourself off and get back out there and do it again and even go on some blind faith because Mitch Stephen said so, then I'm going to make you an extra $2,000 and I may make you an extra $100,000. But the thought of me not being able to deliver on some kind of advice that makes you an extra $2,000 somewhere, if not one time, repeatedly, then, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. If it happens, it's because you didn't get off your butt. So that's the end of that. My Q&A session is every Tuesday at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. I rarely miss. Please join us. It's $3,500 for the year with a $500 renewal. And you can call, Bo at 800-551-7807. That's 800-551-7807. Or you can email Bo, that's B-O, his name is Bo Cash, by the way, believe it or not, Bo Cash, at support@1000houses.com, support@1000houses.com, or call him at 800-551-7807 and say, hey, I want to get signed up for the Q&A for the year. And, you'll get 12 months. I'm sure you won't regret it. Thank you very much, everyone. This is Mitch Stephen with the Real Estate Investor Summit podcast. We're talking about group coaching and Q&A sessions. It's a good conversation. Hope you join me. We're out of here. Have a good one.
You've been listening to the Owner Financing Master, Mitch Be the Bank Stephen, on the Real Estate Investor Summit podcast. Let us now blatantly, without apology, bribe you towards financial freedom by offering you a whole bunch of free stuff. Go to reinvestorsummit.com and get you some. And y'all come back now, you hear?